bentar. Nepmus.
Alright. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you class for joining this class session today. So for this class session today, we will discuss about the ambient air sampling, which is in the roadside and non-roadside area. So for the first, we will discuss about the ambient air sampling in the non-roadside area. So for the non-roadside area, this presentation we will discuss or present by group 2. So for group 2, time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, moderator, for the opportunity. So we are from Group 2, going to be present regarding to air pollution control course with the talking about study case that we're taking from the journal, which called Air Quality Analysis of Amurang fired power plant, PLTU Amurang. With the lecture is Dr. Pajak. Next. Okay, next please. Okay, so this is part of group 2, which is Aslam, Atsel, and Mitiara. Next. Okay, so briefly talking about the study case, here we teach the journal of the study case itself, as you can see in the picturization, with the title of the article of the journal itself is about air quality analysis of Amrang coal fire power plant PLTU Amurang, with the authors can you see here based on several persons, and this is author affiliation, so it's the background of the author itself is based on quiet diverse and then this is like corresponding, so this is morely talking about like the background or the things that contain about the information of the study case journal itself. Next. Okay, so talking about the things that we're going to break down in this session. So there's the outline. So the first is introduction part, and then come from them, we can go to parameter measured and their reasons, and then evaluation of location and type of equipment. And then we also can be evaluating of measurement results based on the journal. And then in the end, closing part. Next. Yeah, introduction. Next. So this is briefly about introduction. Okay. Briefly about introduction, as you can see here, we're talking about coal in the journal. So coal is the main energy sources, with the percentage is about 34.5% for power generation in Indonesia, with increasing consumption every single year. So coal combustion produce harmful pollutant, as we know, such as like CO, NOx, XOX, and thus like FABA, fly ash, and bottom ash, which negatively affect to health and environment as well. And then Amurang Power Plant, which is the place that specifically talking about in this study, supplying electricity to South Minahasa, has experienced equipment leakage, raising the risk of air pollutant itself. And this study aimed to analyze the air quality around the Amurang power plant to identify pollution level produced. Next. Okay, for next session, gonna be explained by Atsil. Atsil, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Tiara, for the introduction. So the next part is about the parameters, measure, and the reason. So if we talk about the ambient air sampling. So we must know what parameters that we will measure. So in this case, we measure actually 4 parameter in the ambient sampling and one parameter. This is for the environmental risk assessment. So for the ambient air sampling, we just measure 4 parameter. First is carbon monoxide. So this carbon monoxide we measure because the carbon monoxide produced from the incomplete coal combustion. So we know that coal-fired power plant they use coal, but the fire or the burning cannot or the combustion they not incomplete as usual. So in this carbon monoxide, they can measure the incomplete combustion in the coal, and then they measure to assess the health risk as CO reduce oxygen transport in the body. And then for the nitrogen dioxide, this is formed during the high temperature coal combustion. And then this is monitored for its potential to irritate the respiratory system. And then for the sulfur dioxide, so we know that coal contain the proximates in this composition. This is the sulfur dioxide. So for the ultimate composition, they have like carbon, oxygen, and etc. But in the proximate composition, they have sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and etc. But the most of the composition in the proximate composition in the coal is sulfur dioxide. And then this is measured to prevent the respiratory issues, and also the sulfur dioxide can contact with the air, with the rain, and become the acid rain. And then the total suspended particulate or TSP. So this is happen because of the residue or after combustion. We know that the coal result the fly ash and bottom ash. So from the fly ash and bottom ash, this is can produce the total suspended particulate. So this monitor to evaluate the respiratory health impacts and air quality. And then for the environmental risk assessment, we have the arsenic parameter. So arsenic in this case, they measure in the plant. So this is the accumulation in the form of coal and the dust. And then this is measured to assess the contaminant risk in the environmental and food chain. And then for the evaluation of the location of the sampling and the type of the equipment, first we must know about the sampling location. So for the sampling location, this is important to know what is the correct or representative sampling location. So based on the SNI 1971 19.6 2005, we can see in this picture the location of ambient sampling from industrial source. So this is same with our case, but in our case is from the power plant. So in here we can see there in this case we have 3 sampling location. First in this chimney. So this is in the power plant. In the second location, this is in the access road to the village, and in third location, this is for residential area. So for the location, this is same with the SNI. So we can see in here, this is the source of the contamination or pollutant, and then this is the sampling location or sampling point. This is the residential. But in this picture, we can see there is less sampling point than from the SNI. And for this, we can see the evaluation of the sampling location based on SNI. So first, the sampling location. In the SNI, we must prioritize the high emission area, wind path, and residential zones. And it is complying the SNI because the area first is the under chimney, so this is the emission source, and then the access road, then the impact area. And then for the number of sampling points, in the SNI, this says the minimum point is 2 points and 1 point with dominant wind direction. So this is complying the SNI. And then for the wind direction and speed, this must consider, and the wind speed must be recorded based on the SNI. So the Amurang Power Plant in study case, they have like direction on the wind speed, and then the wind speed is between 1 until 1.2 knots. This is compliant. And then for the meteorological condition, that also record. So this is compliant. But from for the distance and then sampling height, this is not mentioned in the journal. So we can evaluate these parameters. And then for the safety and interference, the SNI says we must avoid the local disturbance like kitchen, vehicles, and incinerators. In this journal, the allocation is away from the local interference, like the kitchen, vehicle, or incinerator. So this is complying the regulation. So the next, we talk about the equipment that used to measure the ambient air quality. So for this journal, they say they have like 4 or 5 equipment. First, this is HVAC and Impinger, and then NDIR analyzer, anemometer, and thermohygrometer. So for the equipment, we can evaluate based on the standards. First, about the CO parameter. So in the journal, they use the NDIR, non-dispersive infrared analyzer. So if we compare to the SNI 1971, 17.3 2005, this method for this is for CO measurement. So this is compliant because in the standard they also use the NDIR. And then for SO2, in the journal they use Impinger, and the method for analysis is para-Rosanillian method with spectrophotometer. So this is compliant with the standard. And then for NO2, they also use Impinger with analysis method is Saltzman method with spectrophotometer. This is also compliant with the SNI. And then for the TSP, they use HVAC, so with the filter paper, so it also compliant with the standard. For the meteorological data, they use like thermohygrometer, anemometer, and barometer. So this is also relevant or compliant with the SNI. And for the arsenic implant, this is like I said before, this is not for the ambient air quality measurement or sampling, but in this parameter also compliant with the SNI. So for the next is about the evaluation of measurement result. We will discuss or we will present by Aslam.
Okay, thank you from the moderator. So the next I will try to present about the evaluation of the measurement result from this case study. Next slide, please. So as explained before, there is 5 different parameter that has been has been measured. So this is the table of the result from the measurement. The first one is the carbon monoxide parameter, which been measured in 3 different locations. So the results are from the in the microgram per Newton meter cube unit. On location 1 it's 0.04, on location 2 and 3 is 0.00, and for the nitrogen dioxide parameter on location 1 is 0.512, location 2 is 0.00, and location 3 is 0.924. For sulfur dioxide parameter in location 1, the result is 0.023, and location 2 is 0.00, and location 3 also 0.00. For the total suspended particulate parameter in location 1, the result is minus 1.006, and location 2 is minus 0.85, and location 3 is 2.05. And for the last parameter in the environment, which is on the location 3, the result is 81.13. So for the notes on this measurement result, for location 1 show the highest concentration of CO and SO2 due to proximity to the emission source. And location 3 is recorded the highest NO2 and TSP levels, likely influenced by wind direction towards the residential areas. And arsenic was measured in plant tissue at the residential area, indicating pollutant accumulation. And negative TSP values at location 1 and 2 suggest potential measurement or calculation errors. Next. So this is the ambient air quality evaluation table at Amurang Power Plant for each of the parameter. So after they measure the each parameter, they also compare it to the ambient air quality standard. So for the first parameter, the highest concentration was 0.04, and based on the standard, which is for government regulation number 41 of 1999, the standard is 10,000 microgram per hour. So the remark is compliant, and also for government regulation number 22 of 2021, the remarks also compliant. So the next parameter, which is the nitrogen dioxide, the highest concentration recorded was in location 3, which is 0.924. And the remarks from the government regulation number 41 of 1999 is compliant, and also for the government regulation number 22 of 2021 is also compliant. And the next parameter is sulfur dioxide, which the highest concentration measured was in location 1, which is 0.023, with the remarks from the government regulation number 41 of 1999 is compliant, and the government regulation of number 22 of 2021 is also compliant. And the next parameter is in total suspended particulate, which record highest in 2.05 in location 3, which on the government regulation number 41 of 1999 is compliant, and also the government regulation number 22 of 2021 is also compliant. And for the last parameter of arsenic, which the highest concentration is at 81.13, is not regulated by any of the standard regulation. Next. So for the conclusion of this case study, so the study on air quality at PLTU Amurang states that the air quality in the area is still within the ambient air quality standard set by government regulation number 41 of 1999. However, the research highlights the external factors such as wind direction, wind speed, air pressure, and humidity significantly influence pollutant distribution and measurement results. Additionally, emissions from coal combustion, including CO, NO2, SO2, TSP, and arsenic, were detected at varying concentration across different locations, with the highest pollutant levels observed near the plant. And so the study also notes concerns from local residents regarding health issues such as respiratory problems and contamination of water sources due to coal dust and fly ash. This indicates a need for continuous monitoring and possible improvements in emission control to mitigate environmental and health impacts. So these are the references that we use to make this case study PowerPoint presentation. Maybe that's all from me. I will give it back to the moderator.
Okay, thank you very much for group 2 for the presentation. And for the next, we will discuss about the ambient air quality or ambient air sampling in the road set. This will be presented by group 1. To group 1, time is yours.
Activity can be seen.
Yes.
Can the Okay, so I'll be the moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So for our group 2 presentation, we will be talking about the analysis of particulate matter or particulate matter 10 and CO or carbon monoxide gas and its diffusion in Jambi City. So unlike the previous group, which is monitoring in the non-road side, so for our group, we will be talking about the monitoring in the roadside. And before we will be talking about our presentation, first we will introduce ourselves. So the first member there is Lutfi Hilman Firdaus, with student ID number 1018. And then the second member is Hanifitra Akbar, with student ID number 2011. And the last member is me, myself, Muzaki Gusan Effendi, with student ID number 2013. And first, of course, before we go into the problem, I would like to talking about the background of this study research. So, as you know, in Indonesia, the motor vehicle usage is really increasing, and it leads to the air pollution. In fact, in Jambi City's air pollution sources, the 60 until 70%, it is from the motor vehicles, and 30% from industries, household, and other sources. So the the major sources of air pollutant is come from the motor vehicles. And thus the monitoring of CO and PM10 in roadside is conducted. And for this journal, for the data, this study measured CO and PM10 levels at 3 roadside locations along with the atmospheric characteristic. And the data usage were first the traffic volume and composition from Jambi's Environmental Agency. So actually in this journal, we using the literature, like secondary data from Environmental Agency of Jambi City in EKUP program. And then the second, ambient air quality and atmospheric stability data from EKUP. And then the third is the vehicle emissions data from 2012 until 2018 from Jambi's Environmental Agency, and also the relevant regulation related to the air pollution. And for the research location, based on the journal that the journal have the information from the Environmental Agency of Jambi City, the measurement conduct in 3 sites. The first is Haji Agus Salim Street near the Jambi Health Office, and the second is Slamet Riyadi Street near BPJS Employment Office, and the third is Jalan HOS Kokroaminoto near the Suzuki car dealer. And the measurement of CO and PM10 using air monitoring instrument or Impingger gas sampler, and the modeling using high split. And actually the sampling time in study was based on the literature, and it is take in 3 days, and each day from about 500 to 1,500 motor vehicles were collected. And the sampling figure location you can see in the right. And we will be talking about the criteria for the sampling location in the roadside based on the SNE 19-71196 in 2005 for lokasi pemantauan udara ambien. So the first criteria is close to motor vehicle emission sources like main roads, the intersection, or the high traffic areas. So from the data that we get, so we can say that it is compliant with the SNI. And then the second is not obstructed by tall buildings or trees that could alter the air dispersion patterns. So because this journal itself have the data from the environmental agency, so we don't get the data from the journal like whether the sampling is obstructed by tall building or trees. And then the third criteria is the minimum distance from the road edge is 5 meters to ensure the representative data. And also there is no data from the journal. And also for the probe or the sampling height, it must be 1.5 until 4 meters from ground level to reflect the air people breathe. And this is also there is no data from the journal. And the last criteria is it is must not near the other major emission sources such as large industry or waste burning. And as we can see in the map before, there is no in the sampling location there is no industry, so the measurement focus only on the vehicle pollution. And so the last criteria, it is compliant with the SNI. And this is the illustration figure for the take the sampling from the SNI. So yeah, it's like 1 meter to 50 meter from the road, and the wind, the dominant wind way must be goes to the road. And then we we will be talking about the measurement result that will be explained by Hanif.
Okay, thank you Muzaki for the opportunity. So next I would like to talk about the measurement result. So after we conduct the sampling measurement, that is the result that the author got from the measurement. So first for the result in the Jalan Haji Agus Salim. So the CO and PM10 concentration level were analyzed based on the dispersion model. So the highest concentration of CO in this street was 2.5 E minus 11 milligram per meter cube, and the lowest was the 0.8 E minus 15 microgram per meter cube, while the PM10, the highest was 7.9 E minus 11 microgram per meter cube, and the lowest was 0.8 E minus 15 microgram per meter cube. And the dominant wind direction was from the south to the north, causing the pollutant to dissipate northward. The maximum concentration area covered more than 1,000 meter square with a great cell mark in yellow. So in yellow, the dispersion of the pollutant is highest. Next. Next, please.
Wait, Hanif, I have problem. Maybe I will stop sharing first and then I will be sharing again.
Okay, Muzaki.
You see the screen? Can my screen seen by yours? By you?
Yeah, it can.
Okay.
Next slide, please.
Okay.
Okay, this one for Jalan Slamet Riyadi in front of BPJS Ketenagakerjaan Office.
Is the figure seen?
Not yet.
Because in my laptop it's not seen.
It isn't, Muzaki.
Yeah. Is this the correct slides?
Yeah.
Go on, Hanif.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next one is the sampling result in Jalan Slamet Riyadi. So the CO concentration reached a maximum of 3.4 E minus 11 microgram per meter cube and the minimum of 9.9 E minus 15 microgram per meter cube, while the PM10 had a maximum of 1.1 E minus 12 milligram per meter cube and the minimum of 3.3 E minus 17 microgram per meter cube. And the one predominant move from the south to northwest, causing the pollutant to spread in that direction, and the maximum concentration zone cover more than 1 million meter cube with a yellow mark grid cell. Okay, next, Mus. Okay, the last point is Jalan HOS Chokro Minoto in the form of Suzuki car dealer. So the highest recorded CO concentration was 3.3 E minus 11 microgram per meter cube, and the lowest is 1.7 E minus 15 microgram per meter cube. While for the PM10, the maximum was 8.4 E minus 11 microgram per meter cube, and the minimum 4.3 E minus 15 microgram per meter cube. And the wind direction was from the southwest to northeast, leading the pollutant dispersion in this location. And then maximum concentration area was within in the yellow mark grid per 100 meter cube area. So that's all for the measurement sampling result. Next slide, please. Okay, maybe this slide will be presented by Lutfi. Lutfi, time is yours.
Thank you. So the evaluation of the use of the Impingeur gas sampler for air quality measurement based on applicable standards. First, compliant with measurement standards. The Impingeur gas sampler is utilized to capture gases, pollutant in an absorbing solution for further analysis. The commonly applied standard in air quality monitoring include the first is SNI 7111.10:2011 for method for ambient air sampling of gases and vapor using an Impingeur, and U.S. Environmental Protection Agency method 11A for air sampling using an Impingeur for the analysis of formaldehyde and other carbonyl compounds. Next. Next, suitability for the target pollutants. The first one is carbon monoxide, and typically measured using a carbon monoxide analyzer based on non-dispersive infrared or NDIR sensor rather than an Impingeur. And the applicable standard is SNI 7119.14 of 2009 for measurement of the carbon monoxide in ambient air using NDIR spectrophotometry. And the evaluation was the use of an Impingeur for CO measurement is suboptimal compared to the in NDIR method, which is more specific and accurate. Next, for particulate matter, PM10, recommended sampling instrument are high volume air sampler or HVAS, or low volume air sampler LVAS, or beta attenuation monitor or BAM. And the applicable standard is SNI 7119.3 of 2017 for measurement of the PM particulate matter 10 in ambient air using gravimetric methods. And the evaluation, the Impingeur is not suitable for PM10 measurement as the gravimetric methods are more commonly used for particulate sampling. Next. So while the Impingeur gas sampler is appropriate for gas phase sampling, it is not the optimal method for carbon monoxide measurement where NDIR sensors provide greater accuracy. And for particulate matter 10, HVAS, LVAS, and BAM are more suitable methodologies. And to ensure compliance with SNI standard and international references such as US EPA and WHO World Health Organization air quality guidelines, the use of more pollutant-specific instrument is recommended. Next, back to Hanif. Thank you.
Okay, Lutfi. So I will continue. The next part is about the evaluation the result of the sampling using the applicable or used in the journal regulation. So in this journal, the author using the PP Government Regulation Republik Indonesia number 41 of 1991. So based on the measurement, the roadside measurement in the Slamet Riau district using CO meter and PM10 monitoring for 24 hours recorded CO at the concentration of 745.3 microgram per meter cube and PM10 at 24.7 microgram per meter cube. So referring to the government regulation of the Republic Indonesia number 41 of 1991, the CO and PM10 concentration are still within safe condition as they comply with the ambient air quality standard set at 10,000 microgram per meter cube for CO and then 115 microgram per meter cube for PM10. Next for the host Minoto Street in the front of the Suzuki car dealer. So the roadside measurement result using the CO meter and PM10 monitoring for 24 hours recorded CO at more than 1,012.7 microgram per meter cube and PM10 at 28 microgram per meter cube. Referring to the regulation, the CO and PM10 concentration are still within safe condition as they comply with the ambient air quality standard. And then for the last one, at the Haji Agus Salim Street in the front of Jambi City Health Office. So the roadside measurement result also using CO meter and PM10 monitoring for 24 hours recorded CO at 965.8 microgram per meter cube and PM10 at 27 microgram per meter cube. So referring the regulation, the CO and PM10 concentration are still within the safe condition because they comply with the ambient air quality standard at 10,000 microgram per meter cube for CO and 115 microgram per meter cube for PM10. So if the sampling measurement and evaluation with the government regulation of Republic Indonesia number 41 of 1991, all of the parameter endpoint result is still compliant with the ambient quality standard. So next. Sorry. Okay, thank you Muzaki. Then this the evaluation using the current regulation. So the current regulation used is the government regulation number 22 of 2021 and Peraturan Menteri Kesehatan number 2 of 2023. So based on the regulation, the quality standard set for CO is 4,000 microgram per meter cube and for PM10 is 75 microgram per meter cube. So based on the regulation, then compared with the measurement result, all of the sampling measurement result still compliant with the ambient air quality standard. So next. Then for the conclusion, the CO concentration at Jalan Haji Agus Salim, Jalan Slamet Riyadi, and Jalan Cokro Minoto compared to the air quality standard government regulation of Republic Indonesia number 41 of 1991. The CO level at all three locations are below the threshold and considered safe. And for the PM10 concentration, the level at all three locations are below the threshold and considered safe because it's still below the ambient air quality standard. So next. This the regulation, this reference that we use for this presentation, the journal and the regulation. So that's all. Giving back to Muzaki.
Sorry, Muzaki, you still in mute. You're
Okay,
mute.
thank you, Acil, for your reminder. Thank you, Hanif and Lutfi, for our great presentation. I think that's all for our presentation. Giving back to the Acil.
Okay, thank you for group 1 for the great presentation, and also thank you for group 2. So for the next session, it is the question and answer session. So for minimize or for the efficiency of the time, I think for the question and answer, we just write down in the group, and I will collect the question after it. So please write down your question in the group, and each person like usually have 2 questions. So I think that's all for today class session. Thank you very much for your attendance. I will end with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.